that a kid puts on when they go to fence is called a plastron. It goes on their weapon arm. I'm a left-handed fencer, so it would go on my left arm, and then you just flip it around, and it goes on your right hand instead. The purpose of the plastron, it's actually the fencer's last line of defense. If anything happens and a blade gets broken and it goes through a jacket, the seams on this do not match up with the seams of the jacket, and so it should keep them from actually being hurt. It goes on their fencing arm because it comes down to here, and they're getting hit a lot on this part of their arm, and so it provides just a little bit more protection and padding, although, as everybody knows, you still can get bruises from this. The first thing that goes on, like I said, is the plastron. Young women of any age have to wear a chest protector on top of that. Some women decide to put the chest protector on first and then the plastron over it. We always teach them to do it the opposite way, again, so that they have this last line of defense right against their skin. Also, it soaks up all the sweat, and since this is plastic, you get a lot of sweat buildup in there, and so it's just nice to have something absorbent underneath it. Older girls that are starting to develop have not a flat one, but with the bumps, as we call it. I always like to embarrass the young men in our club and tell them that they have to wear the ones with bumps if they want.
Fun.
And on top of that is what's called the jacket. The jacket is the last thing that we wear when we practice. This one in particular is a back zip. You can tell, we always tell the kids to look for the pointy part, or the triangle, which is this part here. That goes in the front, and so they can tell that this is a back zip because this pointy part is in the front. A front zip actually will be off to one side, and it's specific for the hand of the fencer. I'm a left-handed fencer, so my zipper is on the right-hand side. A right-handed fencer, the zipper will be over here. And it's because you want the zipper on the side that's away from the part that's going to be hit. If a weapon hit that zipper, then it could split it open and potentially cause danger to the fencer. It's incredible how safe fencing really is. I mean, you're coming at somebody with a metal stick, and yet because of all of this layers of protection, and they're actually really, really safe.
You're safe.
Then, the last thing that you'll put on before your mask is your glove. The glove goes on the outside of the fencing jacket. You want to create a little, you don't want to create a pocket where, like if you had your sleeve here, then a blade could potentially go up the sleeve. Since all of us pretty much wear t-shirts underneath, that would expose your skin to potential danger. So we make sure that the jacket fits inside that glove so that if a blade were to come up, then it would stay on the outside of the jacket. And then, of course, you have a mask. I think it's pretty obvious what this protects. You do have to be careful not to turn around in fencing because the back of your head isn't protected. And so that's why when we move in fencing, we're just moving forwards and backwards. We don't want to get hit on the back of the head. A lot of people want to call this a helmet. It is not a helmet, it's a mask. It works like a fencing mask, or it works like a Halloween mask where it's on the front of your face. A helmet actually protects more of the back of your head, like a bike helmet or a motorcycle helmet. Then the parts of the electric gear, the main thing, you have all of your practice gear on, so you're already nice and sweaty, and then you get to add another layer called a lame. This is made out of metal fibers, and this will actually be inspected at tournaments, and we'll get to that later on, to make sure that it's conducting enough electricity and enough charge to be able to score a touch on it. On the back, you have this little tab, and you'll attach a head cord. Head cords come in two kinds. They are straight, or they are curly. Sometimes these are referred to as telephone cords. Those of us that had the old kind of phone, where the phone receiver was actually attached to the phone with one of these. It looks like that. Kids have no idea what that looks like.
I do.
And it's just personal preference. I prefer the straight ones. A lot of our fencers prefer the curly ones. It just depends.
Curly ones are the best.
And then you have what's called a body cord. The body cord will actually go up the hand or the sleeve of the side that you fence with. So my body cord goes up my left sleeve. This part right here, this cord, actually pokes out the bottom of the sleeve, and you use that to connect your weapon to. We're creating a little electrical circuit with all of this equipment, so that way we can see who scores a touch. Then, of course, the fun part is the saber. We also refer to these as weapons. We don't call them swords, even though that's what a lot of beginners like to call them. I always tell the kids that swords are things that actually stab and kill people, or it's the things that you see in movies. We do fence with sabers. Now you can tell the difference between a right hand and a left hand saber from the way that the bell guard is set up. So you can see right here, the bell guard, you have to look at where the smaller part is. You can also tell because of where the plug is, the electric plug. It does matter if you're fencing with a right hand or a left-handed one. You need the plug on the inside part, like your palm of your hand. Also, there are two different sizes of weapons depending on your age. You can see here, this one is longer than this one. If you are 10 and younger, you have what's called a number 2 blade. 11 and older, you fence with a number 5 blade. And so sometimes when you have kids that are fencing like in a 10-12 competition, you have some of the kids fencing with these, and you have some of the kids fencing with these. And so it's not quite fair. We do understand that, but that's just going to happen sometimes. Okay, so any questions about the gear so far?